Hi Rubies, hope you're well today. Thank you for checking out today's video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Hannah Ruby. You are currently on my lifestyle / beauty channel. I do also have a music and gaming channel, which you can check in the description below. Welcome everyone new to the channel, or if you've been here for a while. Today I thought I could share 8 things I would tell my younger self. These are just things that I thought of, that if I was to go back and tell myself things, these were things I've learnt over the years that I would tell myself when I was younger. If you can hear squeaking, I'm sorry, it's my chair. So for reference, I am 25, so I know I'm not like that old or anything, but kind of enough that I've learnt some things that I would definitely tell my younger self, like my teenage age self. So I just thought I would share. I would love to know the things that you would tell your younger self. Definitely as you go through life, you kind of learn things that work and don't work and things you do differently. I thought I would just share mine in case they are of any help to anyone. And it's always just good to kind of reflect and go over the things that you've learned and the way you've grown, I think. So yeah, these are things that I would tell myself. So they're not really in any order. These are just things that, as I was thinking about what I would tell my younger self, these are just the things that were coming to me in this order. So I'm going to look at my phone a lot because I've written everything down on here. I've written it all down because sometimes in videos I can get really in my own head about things and kind of like censor myself, I guess, and kind of go, oh no, I can't say it like that, or what if I offend someone, or do you know what I mean? I don't know. I get in my own head about things, so I've just written it down so it's really clear, so I can just kind of read off what I mean, you know. Okay, so number 1 is to open a savings account earlier. So obviously when I first got my bank account I was like, yeah, yes, and I got my first job I was like, oh my gosh, wow, like I've got all of my own money, yes, I can buy so many red lipsticks and so many McDonald's. And obviously that is great, to get that kind of first kind of bit of like financial freedom and kind of be able to have your own money to spend it on what you want. Of course, like that's amazing, but I do wish I'd opened that savings account just so, I think I would have put things in there, you know, it might not have been loads, but I would have put stuff in my savings account, and it would be good for like when I'm the age I am now, when I'm like looking at buying a house with my boyfriend, like to go, okay, I've saved up some money over the years, and like I've done a good job at saving, but I just think if I'd started a bit earlier, like it would have been a bit more beneficial. So yeah, that's one thing I would say. If you've got a bank account, or you're looking at getting a bank account, open a savings account maybe like alongside it or soon after, or even if you don't have one now, open it now. It's really, really useful. There's no pressure on yourself, it's just there for if you think you can put some money aside. Because it's always useful to have money for a rainy day or for whatever you need it for. It's always useful to have it than not. So that's number 1. Number 2, I will also say this video is probably very long, so strap yourself in. I'm probably going to talk a lot. So number 2, I've titled this one is grades aren't the be end all of things. Okay, so obviously school's important to get into the next stage, like college, uni, all of that stuff. And of course it's definitely important to try your best to pass, like especially the English, the maths, the science. But even just for yourself to like know, right, looking back, I tried my best, I couldn't have done any more. And you don't want to obviously waste the experience. You're in school for quite a big, you know, a big portion. I mean, like your whole childhood you're in school from like 4 till 16. I mean, I think it's 18 now, you've got to stay into college. So it's quite a long time, so you don't want to waste the experience, of course. So that kind of point aside, I wish I hadn't worried about grades as much as I did. I've always loved music and I've always wanted to be a musician, literally since I was 7. And I kind of think, I mean, for me anyway, by the time you kind of finish school, you get really focused on the academics side of life. So by the time I went to college, I actually nearly didn't take music as a subject because I was just like, no, that'll be no good. It's not academic enough. I thought it wouldn't help me. And it wasn't until the interview was like, why aren't you taking music? This is like your top grade and I can, you know, you obviously love it. Like, what are you doing? So thank God for that interviewer that said, why aren't you doing music? Because it was like my favourite subject at college. And it's kind of the same with going to uni. I kind of let the college kind of push me down the route of going to uni, and obviously I could have said no, like it was my choice, but at the time I was like, yeah, okay, well I guess that's the best option, you know. And kind of looking back on it, I would have put a lot more time into the extracurricular stuff. I would have gone to more open mics early. I'd put way more time into learning my crafts, like my guitar, the piano. I would have started on music production earlier, and I would have just given it more of a focus, really. I kind of let it take a bit of a back burner because I got so focused on the academics and the grades and, you know, all of that. So my point from all of this is never let go of your dreams and your passions, and don't let anyone make you feel stupid, like just because you're not academic. Some people are more academic and that's great, but also some people are more creative. Some are better at physical tasks, which is also great. And the world needs all of these people. We're all, you know, everyone's important no matter what kind of skill set you have to bring. And obviously the world is a very different place from the education system. It really was a sharp shock when I left the education system, when I left uni, how different the kind of the world is, you know. So yeah, that was my point. Grades kind of aren't the be and end all. Yes, they're important, but also remember other things are important too. Grades aren't what dictate your whole life, you know. It's really important that you're happy. You can always retake exams. You know, it's much more important that you are happy and you're living your best life, you know. So okay, point number 3 is again kind of to do with college and school and all of that stuff, and I've titled this point looking ahead. So I wish I'd looked into the college system a bit earlier. So I think now you do have to go to college after you finish school, or sixth form. When I was there, you didn't actually have to, but most people did. So once you get to year 11, everything kind of gets ramped up for college. They kind of go, right, what do you want to do? You need to be applying, you need to be doing this, that, the other. And it's like a bit much because you think, oh gosh, out of kind of suddenly nowhere, it's all about college and what I'm going to do. However, all those subjects that you want to do at college have their own grade and subject requirements that you need. So you need to enter them. So in all honesty, not to like stress myself out, but I wish at the beginning of high school, like year 7, year 8, I would have had a look at the college handbook, or like had a look at the website, and just kind of gave myself an idea of kind of what I would have liked to have done, and kind of have a look at the courses. What do they offer? What sounds interesting to me? And of course, probably, very likely the grade requirements in the time since I looked at it to when I went would have changed, because I think the boundaries are always changing up and down. It would have given me an idea of, okay, right, if I wanted to do this subject at college, these are the subjects I need to take and these are the grades I'd need, you know? It would kind of tell me what subjects to put more focus on. I mean, luckily in the end it did work out because I picked stuff I enjoyed. We're really, really lucky because my mum has always been like, you've got to do what makes you happy, you've got to do what you enjoy. Life's too short, you know, you've got to do what makes you happy. So I'm really lucky with that. But maybe for someone else who's struggling with, they have no idea what they want to do, and then you get to year 11, you're like, what do you want to do? It can be a bit much. So it would have been useful kind of at the beginning of the school to kind of think, right, okay, have a chat with like, you know, if there was like a dedicated teacher to kind of go, right, let's get you looking ahead, not to stress you out, just kind of, we want to know what interests you and what you like to learn about and what you're passionate about, so we can best help guide you through school and beyond, you know. Because by the time you get to last year in school, it's quite difficult to kind of make any changes. You've already picked your subjects. In my school, you picked your subjects like the middle of school, year 9. And you kind of already been entered for your foundational higher papers, and you kind of, it's too late to make too many drastic changes really by that point within the school itself. So yeah, that would be number 2, just kind of looking ahead a bit more, but not to stress myself out, but just to kind of give myself an idea of what awaits further down the education system line. Okay, my fourth point is to treat everything as a learning experience rather than a failure. So this year, this one has been really key for me with getting into like my meditation. I've mentioned that a few times on this channel. Again, linked in the bio, 30 days free premium for Calm, not sponsored, just I enjoy the app. Getting into my meditation, reading a lot of self-development books, and all the successful people you know have failed lots of times before they get to where they are. But they learn from their experiences and adapt so they can get better. So instead of being hard on myself with negative talk, like self-talk, it would have been better if my attitude was like, okay, that didn't work. I found a way that doesn't work. Cool, so that rules something out. So I can tick that off and move on to something else. What can I learn from it? And I've been reading this book called Think and Grow Rich, and Napoleon Hill, he talks about Thomas Edison and the light bulb. And he went through like thousands of ways of how to invent the light bulbs. And friends would be like, what are you doing? You're not going to do it. Like, you keep failing. And he'd be like, no, I've just found another way not to invent it. So it crosses another one off my list, you know? I'm always getting closer. So yeah, that is number 4. Treat everything as a learning experience rather than a failure. Number 5, you will have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince, and that's normal. I know that it's a cliched saying, but it's true. I used to worry that I was abnormal because I didn't get a long-term boyfriend for some time. Or I viewed it as a long time in comparison to my friends. And I felt like there was something wrong with me because these boys would end up leaving me sad, and then I would feel like I couldn't trust people. And it was 10 times worse, because then I would tell myself, oh gosh, well, I'm abnormal and there must be something wrong with me. It's funny because I was actually reading one of my old diaries the other day, and it was just, I don't know, it was almost like looking back at like a younger sister, do you know what I mean? And this is what I was thinking. I would say to that younger person, or younger version of me that was reading in these diaries, I would say, you're beautiful, don't worry, chill out, your time is coming and there's nothing wrong with you. You're going to meet the most amazing guy who will be everything you ever wanted and more. And me and Brad have been together 7 years this year, which is incredible. He really is the most amazing person ever. And I just wished my younger self knew that, like, don't worry, you know? And this kind of leads into my next point of don't compare yourself to others, as everyone works on their own timeline, you know? I used to always just worry that I was behind with dating, learning to drive, academics compared to others. And there's this quote that says, comparison is the thief of joy. And it's really, really true. And my mum has always said this. She always says, everything that's meant for you comes at the time that's right for you. And that's so, so true. I've always been a bit of a chronic worrier. I've definitely got a lot better at it in the last few years. But I would tell myself, like, everything will work out. Everything that's meant for you comes at the time that's right for you in your life and not others. You know, so never worry that you're behind or you're, you know, compared to your peers, or maybe you're doing something quicker than other people and you compare yourself, because it really is no good. Everyone's life's different. Everyone is different and an individual. And everyone's life it plays out differently at different times, you know? So, yes, that is definitely something I would tell my younger self. It's something I would tell my now self as well, because I get quite stressed about, like, my music career, and I think, oh gosh, maybe I'm not succeeding as quick as I want to or whatever, and then I think, hang on, no, literally everyone's timeline is different, you know? And it's different for other people. Some people would love to be where you are now, and those people that you're admiring think, oh, I want to be like someone else, you know? So yes, don't compare yourself to others, as everyone is on their own path, basically. So my next point is mindset and attitude is important, and be careful how you judge and talk to yourself. So I put off doing extra exercise for a really long time because, well, I was thinking for years actually about doing couch to 5k. I think this is when I started Swimming World quite some years ago now. And I was getting to the point where I thought, I kind of like to do some exercise. I looked into couch to 5k. And I put it off and I put it off and I put it off. And I talked myself out of it because I had judged myself as simply not a sporty person or not an active person. Which is really rubbish, to be honest. It's rubbish, the self-limiting beliefs we put on ourselves. And it came from because at school I wasn't particularly good at PE. It wasn't a lesson I particularly enjoyed. And I decided because of this, I wasn't a sporty person. And it didn't help as well that the tutor group I was in was as a whole, was quite a sporty group. You know, very competitive with sports days, so I always just felt like, no, I'm not a sporty person. So obviously when it came to that point where I was eating healthy and I wanted to better myself, I was thinking about doing exercise, I put it off because I thought, oh well, that's not me, that's not what I do. And you know what, it actually doesn't matter whether I'm good at the exercise or not. What matters is that I'm doing something to better myself and make myself healthier. And I've actually completed couch to 5k 3 times at this point. So by that point, I was thinking I can no longer say, well, I'm not an active person when I completed couch to 5k 3 times. You know, at that point, I've got to go, right, well, I've got to ditch that talk at myself now. So basically, it just comes back to be careful about the things you say to yourself. It is incredibly, how you talk to yourself is so important. And you don't need to contend with these self-limiting beliefs you put on yourselves because it just makes it harder. And another one that I had, and I still actually kind of have, that I'm working to sort, is this I don't cook or I'm no good at cooking. Again, ridiculous, because last week I helped cook pretty much a whole week's worth of dinners and most of them were pretty good. I didn't burn anything, the house is still standing. And the thing is coming back to that other point about everything being a learning experience rather than a failure, is that no one is just born good at something straight away. It all takes practice and time. And this actually leads me on to my next point, which I've titled Talent Takes Time. So technically I guess I'd say it's skill that takes the time, but it's deemed as talent by the people they see. They go, oh gosh, they're so talented, you know. And yes, I am sure that there are things that come easier to some people than other things. Like everyone kind of tends to have something that they find a bit easier, whether that be sport, video games, cooking, music, songwriting, art. You know, there's some things that people just tend to find a bit easier. Maths, puzzles, so many things, woodworking, you know. So for some time I spoke quite negatively to myself, and I didn't view myself as good enough, and I'd say things like, I'm not talented enough, well what's the point, if I was talented enough I would be doing better, which again is rubbish. So I've been reading at the moment a book called Grit, which talks a lot about this kind of the talent, the skill, all of this stuff. And other kind of books like Tony Robbins' Unlimited Power and also Atomic Habits. They're all books that have been really great so far. And everything comes back to mindset and how much time you're willing to put in to bettering yourself at something, to work on those weaknesses. So sure, you can find something naturally easier, but it doesn't mean you don't have to work at improving your skills, you know. So I wasted a lot of time not picking up my guitar or playing the piano because I used to be like, oh, well, what's the point if I'm not talented enough? What I tell myself now is that to get better at guitar and piano, I have to practice. It's not all just going to be, you know, I'm not going to be Mozart, am I, like straight off the bat. And it doesn't have to be like a perfect practice time, and it doesn't have to be long, but I do need to sit down and I do need to practice. And try and improve on those weaknesses, you know, to grow. So even Ed Sheeran was not born the way he is now. In fact, there's actually a video, if you search on YouTube, of him playing one of these old like voice recordings that he did. and his C is really out of tune and really flat, and you wouldn't think it's the same person, and it's because he put a lot of time and effort into developing his skills and being better, you know. So that was a very long video. I'm sorry, I'm probably not going to be able to edit it down too much. So thank you if you watched this. So again, to sum up my 8 core things, is number 1, open a savings account. Number 2, grades aren't the be end all. Number 3, looking ahead. 4, treat everything as learning experiences rather than failures. Number 5, you'll have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince, and that is normal. You're not abnormal, you're not a freak, do not worry. Everything, and then that leads into number 6, don't compare to yourself to others, as everybody works on their own timeline with everything in life. And number 7, be careful how you judge and talk to yourself, because mindset and attitude is really important. And number 8, talent/skill. And talent takes time, building that skill takes time, and to be top of your game you just need to put in the time and the practice to get better. As simple as. So that was a lot. I hope you enjoyed my things I would tell my younger self. I'm sure if I had to think of some more, I probably could think of some more if you want a part 2. I would love to know what are the things that you would tell your younger self. It's just really interesting to kind of, when you live things, you're not always paying attention to the stuff that you're learning, and it's not until you kind of sit down and think, okay, well actually what kind of the key takeaway things that I've taken away from my experiences in life, you know, and it's just quite interesting to sit down and to think about it. So yeah, I'd be interested to know yours. If you want to check out my music and gaming channels, they're in the description below. They are Gaming Friday, Music Sunday. Yeah, I just hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I just want to take this time as well to tell you all that you are enough, you are brilliant, you are amazing, and never ever give up on your hopes and dreams. Just you are brilliant, and never lose sight of the fact that you are a great human being, you are enough, and stop that negative self-talk, because I'm sure we all do it. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a lovely rest of your week, and I'll see you next week for another video. Let me know if you want a part 2. I'm sure I could come up with something, or if you want another one of these advice things. See you later. Bye!